Hello and happy holidays. If you're able to go see your loved ones this holiday season, great. If you're not able to go see them or just don't celebrate anything, then cheers. This episode is basically just gonna be a matter of revitalizing the PW. It's just a matter of touching up the things that I found were wrong or just fixing the things I never bothered to fix to begin with. It's been super reliable. I've been riding it since that last episode aired, and it starts like first kick. It doesn't run super well or really well at all. Like, it is rideable, but it's definitely not happy. And part of that is because I've done modifications, but then not done the supporting mods to go along with it. So a couple things we need to do. Firstly, I got new clutches. The bikes never had clutches as far as I can tell. And when I took the bike apart initially to do the rebuild, I looked at them and they looked okay. I just wanted to upgrade to something better. So one, they have more material, and two, they're just better quality. So we're gonna upgrade that. In doing that, I need to get a new gasket, and we're gonna just use the same oil we've been using, which is the 1040 synthetic, which is also wet clutch specific. For fork oil, last time we used 15 weight, and I think we used like 3 ounces per fork, which is too soft and also probably not enough fluid. That's what I found online, but I don't think that was actually right. So we're gonna go up in weight, and we're probably gonna go up in quantity a little bit too. Power reeds, we're just gonna upgrade from the factory ones to Boysen ones, whatever they're called. And then Six Sigma got a jet kit given the specs of the bike. So you tell them like what altitude you're at, what mods you've done, and also like the bike itself. They figure it all out and send you that stuff. So hopefully that's carb adjustment in a bag. Like, I can have that done. So to start off, I'm gonna take these clutches out, put them in a bag, put them in with some fluid, let them soak overnight, and then we'll swap that at some point. But to start off, I'll probably do the fork oil because that's super easy. And then, I don't know, we'll see. Other mods I'd like to do at some point are just replace the rear shock, replace the tires, and also replace the exhaust. Most of which is not in stock. I've already picked out the things. Due to the end of the world or whatever, stuff's not available. So that'll be a second mod video at some point in the future. When that'll happen, I have no idea. But just keep an eye out for it, because I do plan to do it at some point in the future. So I can safely say we are totally off the rails at this point. I was only going to do a couple performance mods to like fix the issues with the bike, but I ended up pulling off a bunch of stuff and having it powder coated. Got new foot grips, which these ones weren't even bad, I just don't like them. And then the actual performance parts that I bought initially. This is the part number for the factory little grip thing that goes at the end of the gear selector. And these are the 2 part numbers for the gaskets for the upper and lower intake manifold. Goodbye, handlebar. Turns out the other side is stripped, so that's cool. I may have to just order a new tube, which that was the damaged one anyways. Worst case, what I can do is just flip the bike over, see if I can get anything to come out that way. Well, that didn't really go to plan. Both the drain plugs are stripped, or it's user error, I'm not totally sure. I'll just flip it over and let it drain out the top. But I can't do that because the gas tank's full of fuel. We'll do the other stuff first, and then while it's empty, we'll flip it over because I just don't want to dump it all over my floor. I can't do the forks right now. I'm going to change the oil, or rather remove the oil and also change the spark plug. And these 2 things haven't been done since after the engine was broken in, so it's definitely due. So that's pretty okay, but still definitely worth replacing. So we got a new BP6HS to go in it. And just snug it down, 17 mil for the drain plug. That looks fine. I mean, I'm still doing it. It's fairly consistent with new oil. I mean, we got to change anyway to do the clutches, so it's not like it's an optional thing. So we're going to do the clutches now. I have no idea if they're actually original or not. I just assume they're original, and I assume they're wore out. I didn't measure them. So we're going to pull the kickstart off, pull the side cover off, hopefully not tear the gasket, but in any case replace it because I already have it, and then just start replacing the clutches. I really don't expect anything to be too bad inside here because between now and when I finish the bike, it probably only has like 10 hours of runtime on it. So I really don't expect any hideousness in here, but you never know how things go. These have been soaking in fluid for like 2 weeks, and I just use the garbage Super Tech Walmart stuff because obviously it was going to get wasted. They're definitely saturated, which is good. So now I can try to get this cover off with my hands being all oily. Okay. Yeah, not bad at all, as you'd expect for an engine with like no miles on it. Funnily enough, I have no idea how to take this apart. Now that I think about it, I don't know if I ever did take it apart, but we do have a little surface rust on some of the components, which that was probably from when it was sitting in the junkyard. And I think it's just this one big C-clip that runs the whole perimeter, and then I'm not totally sure, but I'm gonna unbolt it here in the center and just take the whole thing off and do it on the bench. Yeah, this thing looks spectacular. Really like nothing to talk about here. It's awesome. Okay, so it's actually really easy to get apart. We have this spring top plate thing that sits on the top, obviously, and then we have this big C-clip, like a big piston ring that sits on top and locks it in place. We don't really have to find bumps on here anymore, whereas the other one I can see from the side profile we do. So they're definitely worn. I have no idea how many hours on here, how much more time I have left, but in any case, we're just gonna swap them, and we're just gonna do alternating friction plate, clutch material, friction plate, clutch material, whatever they're called. There's pretty much no way you're gonna see this on camera, but we have these little pucks that are the clutch material, and you can see on the used one, they're kind of the same with the material below it, like they're very worn out, whereas the new one, they're defined bumps. So these were definitely worn. I have no idea if they're original, but it doesn't really matter because we're replacing them anyway. That's so strange. Anyways, I got the friction plates cleaned up. You can actually see the little pucks where they had been sitting. When I first got the bike, obviously it was blown up and seized, but once I got it running and driving, for the first like, I don't know, hour of riding, the thing would just bang into gears. Like it would, like you'd shift it and it would just aggressively lurch into gear. And that's most likely because these clutches were all stuck. I have no idea how long it takes a clutch to sit on there and imprint itself onto the friction plate, but it has. So honestly, these are probably worth replacing, but you have to buy them individually, and I also didn't price them out or buy them. So we're just not gonna do that, it's fine. So we're gonna go ahead and slap back together. Another thing I noticed is normally, oh, that was a bad idea. Another sign this thing's probably hasn't been run all that much is normally like when you have a really worn engine, you start to get little teeth worn into these sections of the clutch basket, and we have a little bit of it happening there, but really not bad at all. Like I can't feel it, I can only see it. Also, I'm not sure if there's bearings missing, but there are 4 open spots for ball bearings. I'm kind of assuming there are 4 missing. I don't know where they've gone, but I'm just gonna leave it as I found it since it was running. Ignoring the possible missing ball bearings, we're just gonna go ahead and slap it back together, alternating between these guys. So slap this down into here. Now the fun bit. There we go. I never actually knew the year of this bike. When I ran the VIN on one of those free garbage VIN checking websites, it came up with a 2001. But I see here on the engine, I never noticed it before, it's stamped with December of 99, which would make this bike an early 2000, more than likely, maybe a mid-year 2000. So actually the VIN thing was fairly close. I'm gonna go ahead and stick with 2000 versus 2001 just for future reference, but it's just kind of cool. I never noticed that was stamped there. In any case, got the clutch on, got it tightened down, got the mating surfaces cleaned up of both the case and the cover. Gonna go ahead and slap the new gasket on. This goes on somewhere like that. One thing I really wanna do down the line is get a full FMF exhaust, but you can't get it right now because it's on back order due to the end of the world. But just a little while ago, I was browsing the marketplace, just bored one day, and I found another PW for sale for like 400 bucks with the full FMF exhaust. And I messaged the seller, I'm like, I'm super interested, I'll be there like 2 hours, just let me get off work. And they're like, yeah, no problem. I messaged them like right when I'm ready to leave, and I see the listings marked as sold. So I messaged them like, hey, is it sold because of me or did someone else already buy it? And someone else already bought it. I'm like, oh shit. Okay, great. Because like, I would have just bought the bike, stolen the exhaust, put the stock stuff on the other bike, and fixed and sold the other bike and made profit. And essentially gotten the exhaust for free, but it is what it is, we lost it, so. That's one of the things that I mentioned with the JR is when a good deal comes along, you can't lollygag. There's no waiting another day, there's no negotiating price, like go get that thing right now. At least in my area, that's how it is. It wasn't a great deal for PW, but like for a flip, would have made money and also got the exhaust I wanted. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and put the footrest assembly back on, which is just a brace that goes into the engine here, and whatever other little powder coated parts I have that I've already taken off. So we'll get those back on real quick, and then we should be good to do the carb stuff. Okay, this is frustrating. I'm just gonna go ahead and do it off camera. That way I don't have to cut out a bunch of swearing. We'll just get back at it when I'm doing the carb. So carb's off, obviously. And all in all, carb seems fine. I just cleaned it up a little bit, but I didn't see any weird issues. And I also just now realized I forgot to buy another bowl gasket for this. Hopefully it doesn't break, but in any case, we'll just crack it open. The gasket didn't rip, so that's good. Now I just gotta figure out what we have here to replace. I don't know what those are. 110 main jet, 150 main something, 130 main, and then a drill bit for something, and a self-tapping screw. Okay, well, let's find out what's in here. I don't remember the names of this stuff. Hello? Get out of there. Well, that one doesn't want to come out, so whatever. This one has no markings on it, but we're gonna go with the middle one. So we're gonna go with 130 and then just see how it handles after that. Aside from this one smaller jet not wanting to come out of there, the old one has no markings on it, so I have no idea what the original one is. I don't know anything, that's why I bought the jet kit. I had an issue where the emulsion tube wouldn't come out, and also the jet that did come out isn't the same thread size as the ones that are for it. And I tried to figure it out, and then I remember that this isn't even a standard Mikumi, this is a clone. And this kit is for a Mikuni. So a long time ago when I was building the bike, it had a Mikuni on it and it was leaking fuel from somewhere. And instead of dealing with it, I just bought a new carb for it, which is the clone. But I still have the Mikuni. So we're gonna use now the Mikuni body, and we're gonna use a mishmash of clone and Mikuni parts just because some of the Mikuni ones are really tore up. Like they sat with old fuel in it for a long time and they're actually smaller in size now because the fuel ate away at them. So in any case, gonna upgrade this one. It has a 125 in it currently, so we're still gonna do the 130 as the main jet. This jet also sits down, or sits towards the bottom of the bowl more so than the others, but it's probably fine. And then now we can slap this back together, and hopefully it works. I don't know if these have a torque spec, but they all seem loose. So past me didn't tighten them enough, or I don't know. Just gotta keep it clean enough where I don't drop material down into the rotating assembly. So pretty easy. I'm gonna clean this out really carefully, and then we can install the new reeds on the bench. If I remember right, I didn't replace these gaskets before, so, and also since the OEM ones are black, I can assume the lower one was original and the top one was aftermarket. I don't know, whatever. And stock reeds are just aluminum or steel. That, whatever. Okay, easy enough. Okay, the carb and throttle and all that stuff's all back together. We're gonna go ahead and try to get the oil out of the forks now. As I showed you earlier, the drain bolts are stripped out. Luckily, at least they don't leak. We put in 2.4 or 2.6 ounces per side last time of 15 weight. We're gonna do about 3 ounces per side of 20 weight and see how that goes. But since the drain bolts are stripped, I'm gonna have to flip the bike upside down. I have the caps off right now, and hopefully we can get a majority of the oil out that way. But worst comes to worst, it's okay if there's a little bit in there. It was fairly fresh. So yeah, I'll just struggle with it for a little bit, and then we'll just see what comes out of it. Oh, it's heavier than I thought. And like nothing's coming out. That's cool. Okay, well that didn't work, so we're just gonna add in new fluid. It does seem like they are actually leaking too. At least one side is. So I'll go ahead and order the new ones after the holidays, aka when I have money. But for now, I'm just gonna add in new fluid, and then we'll call it good enough. Just so we're on the same page, I'll let you know where I'm at right now. And then by the next time I'm filming, the changes I talk about now will be done. I've already had a chance to go outside and fire it up. It doesn't run worth a crap. It won't run off choke. Just all in all is crap. I remember why I stopped using this carb, and that's because it was leaking fuel out of the overflow. And that's because the actual hole that the needle and seat sit in is pitted and doesn't seal fully. I've ordered a new carb, like a brand new Mikuni for this, so it should be exactly the same, just new. That way I don't have to go back to the Chinese garbage. However, in the meantime, it's supposed to snow in like 2 days, and I want to ride it, so I'm going to put the Chinese crap back on, and that will at least get me by for the snow. Okay, so obviously it's snowing. We're going to fire it up, see what it does, tune it a little bit, and then if I'm happy with it, or at least it'll stay running, then we'll ride it around. Seems good enough. Okay, obviously runs. I'm gonna go ahead and let it warm up some more, and then I'm gonna bring a screwdriver as well, just so I can tune on the go. so I'm gonna go ahead and clip all the good bits of the riding footage together. That way it seems like it's running well, because it's actually not running well at all. I didn't even use third gear. It was only first and second, and then when you put it in second, it would just slowly bog, and you have to put it back to first, then just keep repeating that process until, you know, you get to where you need to be. It's just running like crap. And I have the Chinese carb back on it. I put in a 105 main jet, and then the original one was an 88, I believe. So a little bit larger there, and then also I moved the needle up one notch. And in all that, like, it ran better than it has previously, but it's still just not running well. The right option is to wait for the Mikuni carb that I had ordered to come in, which is like a proper OEM Mikuni replacement. And then I can put the 6 Sigma jet kit in it and then tune accordingly. Whenever that comes in, I'll put that on and just ride the thing around. But it probably won't make it into an episode because it'll probably arrive between episodes. There will be at least one more episode of this because there's a bunch of bolt-on things I want to do, specifically tires, front forks, rear shock, FMF exhaust, but it's all a matter of money and when things arrive. But in any case, I'm going to end this one here. Thanks for watching and stay tuned. Oh, how'd that happen? Where did it go? It just left. Do I have dementia? Where did this go? Hello? What the shit? Oh, how'd it get over there? Well, now I need to crimp this back on. So that's good. Recommended Yamaha lube. Nope. Ow, fuck. Fuck you. Asshole.